Hello and good morning. You're watching Doordarshan News and this is the news for hearing impaired. I'm Nancy Kohli and with me is Sonu. Let's begin with the headlines. Prime Minister Modi to inaugurate the submarine cable connectivity for the Andaman and Nicobar Islands today via video conferencing. The high-speed broadband connectivity to bring in much-needed development in the strategic islands. Prime Minister Modi interacts with the BJP workers of the Andaman and Nicobar, says 12 islands of Andaman and Nicobar chosen for expansion of the high-impact projects related to seafood, organic products and coconut-based products. Forty-two bodies retrieved so far from the landslide site in Kerala's Idukki district. The NDRF and the fire service personnel continue the search operations in the area. The victims are mostly the tea estate workers and their kin. India touches a new peak of 7,19,364 COVID tests in a day. The recovery rate continues to improve, inching near the 69% mark with over 14.8 lakh recoveries. The global COVID-19 cases crossed the 2 crore mark. In Lebanon, clashes erupt at protests demanding justice over a 4th August Beirut explosion. 2 government ministers resign. The international community pledges aid for Lebanon. Our top story, Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate the submarine optical fiber cable connecting Chennai and Port Blair via video conferencing today. The submarine cable will also connect Port Blair to Swaraj Dweep, Little Andaman, Car Nicobar Kamorta, Great Nicobar, Long Island and Rangat. The foundation stone for this project was laid by Prime Minister Modi on 30th December 2018 at Port Blair. Enhanced telecom and broadband connectivity will boost tourism and employment generation in the islands, give an impetus to the economy and raise the standards of living. Better connectivity will also facilitate the delivery of e-governance services in Andaman and Nicobar Islands.
भारत सरकार द्वारा अंडमान के लिए चेन्नई से अंडर सी केबल जो कनेक्ट हो रहा है उसके लिए सारे अंडमान के द्वीपवासी भारत सरकार के एंड पर्टिकुलरली माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के हृदय से कृतज्ञ हैं, क्योंकि उन्होंने जब वो 2018 के दिसंबर मंथ में यहाँ आए थे अंडमान में इसकी आधारशिला रखी थी और 20 साल से जो अंडमान के द्वीपवासी सपना देख रहे थे वो अब पूरा होने जा रहा है.
The new network will enable the delivery of faster and more reliable mobile and landline telecom services to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands at par with other parts of the country. About 2,300 kilometers of submarine optical fiber cable has been laid at a cost of about 1,224 crore rupees. The submarine optical fiber cable link will deliver the bandwidth of 2 by 200 Gbps between Chennai and Port Blair. The submarine optical fiber cable link will deliver bandwidth of 2 by 100 Gbps between Port Blair and the other islands. The 4G mobile services, which were constrained due to limited backhaul bandwidth provided via satellite, will also see a major improvement. And meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi virtually interacted with the BJP workers from the Andaman and Nicobar Islands last evening. He expressed confidence that the high-speed broadband connectivity will be launched will help the people of Andaman and Nicobar Islands to have a virtual connect with other parts of the country. He said that everyone will be able to avail the benefits of all kinds of online services amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
मुझे विश्वास है कि कोरोना के समय में मिल रही सुविधा से अंडमान निकोबार द्वीप में बच्चों की पढ़ाई लिखाई, बैंकिंग और दूसरी सेवाओं में ऑनलाइन सुविधा का ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लाभ मिलना संभव हो पाएगा। आपको भी और अंडमान में टूरिज्म और दूसरे व्यापार कारोबार से जुड़े साथियों को भी इस तरह वर्चुअली देश और दुनिया से जुड़ने में अब कोई समस्या नहीं आएगी।
And the Prime Minister also said that 12 islands of Andaman and Nicobar have been chosen for the expansion of the high-impact projects. Prime Minister Modi said in Andaman and Nicobar, the government is going to lay emphasis on industries related to seafood, organic products and coconut-based products. He said the entire nation needs to progress for the development of New India. He stressed that government's work should reach out to everyone.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए, नए भारत की रक्षा, सुरक्षा और समृद्धि के लिए भी अंडमान निकोबार की व्यापक भूमिका है। इसी को समझते हुए 2017 में ही आइलैंड डेवलपमेंट एजेंसी का गठन किया गया, जिसमें सभी महत्वपूर्ण स्टेक होल्डर्स को शामिल किया गया। इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट स्कीम्स के इस पूरे क्षेत्र में एमएसएमईज और दूसरे उद्योगों को प्रोत्साहित किया जा रहा है। ये हमारे देश का सौभाग्य है कि हमारे पास अलग अलग हिस्सों में अलग अलग चीजें हैं जिनको हम विकसित कर सकते हैं। जैसे अंडमान और निकोबार में से सी फूड हो, ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स हो, कोकोनट बेस्ड प्रोडक्ट्स हो, इनसे जुड़े उद्योगों को हम बल देने वाले हैं।
Moving on now, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will launch the Atmanirbhar Bharat Saptah today in line with Prime Minister Modi's vision for a self-dependent India with increased local manufacturing. Yesterday, the minister had announced that India will stop the import of 101 weapons and military platforms like the transport aircraft, the light combat helicopters, conventional submarines, cruise missiles, among others, on a staggered basis till 2024. The move is meant to give an impetus to domestic defence production. The Defence Minister said that the Defence Ministry is now ready for a big push to encourage the indigenous defence manufacturing in line with Prime Minister Modi's clarion call for an Atmanirbhar Bharat. In some other news now, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister E.K. Palanisamy spoke to his Kerala counterpart Pinarayi Vijayan and assured him of all the help in rescue efforts after a massive landslide killed at least 42 people near Munnar in Idukki district. In a message on his Twitter handle, the Chief Minister said he had expressed his condolences about the tragic loss of lives and damages caused due to heavy rain and landslides at Munnar and offered all the necessary support in the relief operations. The toll in the landslide that leveled a row of 20 houses of tea estate workers has risen to 42 with the retrieval of more bodies from the rubble. The workers, mostly Tamils, have been working in the estates for several decades now. And several districts in Kerala are on a high alert following heavy rains across the state. The Met Department has issued red alert in Kannur, Kozhikode, Wayanad, Malappuram, Idukki and Alappuzha districts. Except the state capital Thiruvananthapuram, orange alert has been issued for other districts. Many rivers in Kerala are in spate. Several houses were fully or partially damaged in coastal and low-lying areas. Several families have been shifted to flood relief camps, and the 4 sluice gates of the Pampa Dam in Pathanamthitta district have been raised slightly as the inflow into the dam's reservoir is increasing. Fishing boats brought from Kollam have been kept ready in Ranni, Tiruvalla and Pantalam towns to evacuate people. Many areas in these places were inundated in 2018 when the shutters of the dam were opened without a prior warning. With many smaller dams in the state receiving heavy rainfall in their catchment areas, the authorities have warned people living along the river banks to remain vigilant and move to safer places. And in Bihar, the flood situation remains critical as the flood water spread to some new areas. More than 74 lakh population spread over 1,232 panchayats in 125 blocks of 16 districts are facing the wrath of floods. 23 teams of the NDRF and 10 teams of the SDRF are engaged in relief and rescue operations. According to the State Disaster Management Department, 23 people have so far died in the flood-related accidents. 7 relief camps are being run where over 11,000 people are sheltered. Medical teams are deployed in the affected areas. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and his cabinet colleagues are constantly visiting flood-affected areas to take stock of the situation. The river Ganga is below the danger mark all along its course in Bihar except Kahalgaon, where it is 17 centimeters above the danger mark. The Met Office has predicted light rain in the catchment areas of all the rivers in Bihar today. In some other news now, and moving in fact on to the COVID-19 updates, led by the central government strategy of test, track, treat, India has touched a new peak of testing more than 7 lakh tests in a single day. Significantly, 7,19,364 COVID-19 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours. The total number of tests is now 2,41,06,535. The states have been advised to firmly focus on comprehensive tracking, prompt isolation and effective treatment. Several meetings have been taken in the past week to engage with the states that are showing a higher fatality rate. India has recorded the highest number of recoveries in a single day, with 53,879 COVID patients having recovered and discharged yesterday. With this, the total number of recovered cases has touched another high of 14,80,884. This is more than twice the number of active cases, which stands at 6,28,747. The number of recovered cases has touched another high of 2.36 times the active cases. With a higher number of recovered patients, the recovery rate, which has continued on its growth graph, stands at 68.78%. The case fatality rate has further slumped, touching an improved rate of 2.01%. And let's now take a look at the worst COVID-19 affected states across the country. Maharashtra tops the list with about 12,248 new cases recorded in the last 24 hours. And the state now has a total of 5,15,332 cases of COVID-19. Besides that, 13,348 patients have been discharged and 390 COVID-19 deaths have been reported in the state yesterday. In the national capital, Delhi, a total of 1,300 positive cases were recorded in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of positive cases to 1,45,427. Total active cases remain at 10,729. Besides that, 1,225 patients were discharged, while 13 deaths were recorded yesterday. Meanwhile, Goa witnessed the highest spike yesterday, with 506 people testing positive for COVID-19 on a single day, bringing the total number of cases to 8,712 and a number of active cases to 2,642. In Tamil Nadu, the total number of COVID-19 cases stands at 2,96,901 as 5,994 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 in the state in the last 24 hours. Union Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Nitin Gadkari yesterday held an interaction with the members from the Bharatiya Udyog Vyapar Mandal on 39th National Traders Day. Addressing the group of traders, the minister said that India's fight on economic front is as important as the fight against COVID-19. He added that the fund of funds for MSMEs would now be 50,000 crore rupees. The minister said that with the foreign investment in the MSME sector, it will give a boost to both liquidity and the employment opportunities.
ये तय किया है कि हमारे एमएसएमई को अब फंड ऑफ फंड 20,000 करोड़ का हमने दिया है, वो 50,000 करोड़ होगा और एमएसएमई कैपिटल मार्केट में जाएगी और कैपिटल मार्केट से अपना पैसा खड़ा करेगी। मैं कुछ दिन पहले अमेरिका के करीब 17,000 इन्वेस्टर के साथ मेरा इंटरेक्शन हुआ, दुबई में जो 20,000 इन्वेस्टर के साथ इंटरेक्शन हुआ, ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ हुआ, यूके के इन्वेस्टर के साथ हुआ और मैंने एक बात देखी है कि सबसे अच्छे रिटर्न्स दुनिया में कहीं मिल सकते तो हिंदुस्तान में मिल सकते हैं और इसलिए हमारे एमएसएमई में, हमारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में बड़े प्रमाण पर फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट आएगी तो हमारे देश में लिक्विडिटी बढ़ेगी और लिक्विडिटी बढ़ेगी तो रोजगार बढ़ेगा।
And the minister also said that we have to accomplish the mission of making India a $5 trillion economy, and we have that potential. We have young, talented and skilled manpower. He stressed on making efforts towards a digital India.
हम ऐसा देश बनाना चाहते हैं जहाँ ट्रांसपेरेंसी हो, फास्ट ट्रैक डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस हो, डिजिटलाइज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन हो, करप्शन फ्री सिस्टम हो और डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस फास्ट हो। और ऐसे देश को बनाने के समय काफ़ी प्रयास हम कर रहे हैं, धीरे धीरे निश्चित रूप से काफ़ी सुधार हो रहा है और इसमें हमारा फ़ायदा भी होगा। हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अच्छा डेवलप कर रहे हैं, अच्छे रोड बना रहे हैं, अच्छे जलमार्ग बना रहे हैं, रेलवे में विकास कर रहे हैं, हम लोग पावर अभी 24 घंटे मिलती है, टेलीकम्युनिकेशन में अब सब पूरा डिजिटलाइजेशन हो गया है, एक तरफ गाँवों तक हमारा डिजिटलाइजेशन हो गया है, हमारी आईटी की लाइन वहाँ तक पहुँच गई है। अब इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी और बायोटेक्नोलॉजी का ज़माना है और डिजिटलाइजेशन के ऊपर ई मार्केट की सुविधा प्राप्त हो रही है।
And moving on now to the updates on Kozhikode air crash. 115 persons injured in the mishap at the Calicut International Airport at Karipur are currently undergoing treatment at various hospitals in Kozhikode and Malappuram districts. Of these, 14 persons continue to be critical, while 57 persons have been discharged after treatment. The state police have formed a 30-member team to carry out a probe into the tragic incident. The mishap took place on Friday evening when an Air India Express flight from Dubai overshot the runway at the Calicut International Airport and fell into a valley. The accident has claimed 18 lives. And the Union Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has recommenced the updates related to Vande Bharat mission with a tribute to the 18 people who lost their lives in the Kozhikode air accident. He said the grace with which the people of the town and their airport have faced the tragedy is a lesson in human resilience and spirit. He informed that 6,063 stranded Indians returned from across the world yesterday. Moving on now, the Delhi police have ramped up the security checks in the national capital ahead of the Independence Day. Stringent security arrangements are being made in view of Independence Day, and the vehicles of commuters are also being checked. World Lion Day is being celebrated today with an aim to conserve and spread awareness about the big cats and the declining population. The people and environmentalists have come together on this day every year to celebrate the mighty lions on this day. India has recorded a 29% increase in the population of the Asiatic lions living in Gujarat's Gir forest, as their numbers have increased to 674 in 2020. A total number of 208 Asiatic lions are housed in 31 zoos across the country and have been a star attraction in promoting the wildlife conservation and awareness for visitors, especially children, to see these magnificent creatures. The Forest Department has also started social media campaigns on wildlife conservation and awareness, which aims at encouraging people to participate by developing creatives like pictures, paintings, videos and graphic designs on the occasion of the World Lion Day. An update now from Lebanon, which continues to grapple with the aftermath of the explosion that was caused due to 2,750 tons of highly explosive ammonium nitrate blast. Besides the intensive debris cleaning operation, violent protests swept the Lebanese capital Beirut. Protesters called on the government to quit over what they say was negligence that led to Tuesday's explosion. Protesters blocked Parliament Road, following which police had to fire tear gas to try to disperse rock-throwing protesters. The protesters also broke into the Housing and Transport Ministry offices, and amidst the crisis, two government ministers resigned, saying the government had failed to reform. Meanwhile, the members of the international community have also called for support and action. A team of the Russian emergency workers, including medical equipment, a field hospital, was sent to Beirut earlier this week to provide humanitarian aid. French President Emmanuel Macron, who visited Beirut on Thursday, called on the world powers to put aside their differences and support the Lebanese people, saying the country's future was at stake. And speaking at his weekly address in St. Peter's Square, Pope Francis urged the people of Lebanon to work together for a new, free and strong coexistence. And taking a look now at the global updates on COVID-19 from across the world. The number of COVID-19 cases recorded worldwide has crossed 2 crores, while over 7,33,000 people have lost their lives so far. The total recoveries worldwide stand at over 1 crore 28 lakh. The US and Brazil remain the worst affected countries in terms of COVID-19 infections and fatalities. Starting with the US, the country has suffered the most from the pandemic, with more than 51.98 lakh cases and over 1.65 lakh fatalities so far. The US has registered over 47,000 new cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. US President Donald Trump has attended a private fundraising dinner in New Jersey on Sunday after he took the executive actions over COVID-19 financial aid. Trump also sought to look after matters on signing executive orders and memorandums aimed at unemployment benefits, evictions, student loans and payroll taxes affected by the pandemic. And in Brazil, the second worst affected country after the US, the country has so far registered over 30.35 lakh cases of COVID-19 and over 1 lakh deaths. São Lucas Hospital in southern Brazil is taking part in the large-scale trials for a vaccine to prevent COVID-19. It is monitoring 852 volunteer healthcare workers as part of its participation, along with 11 other centers across the country in the research. And President Trump's executive order banning WeChat could have far-reaching consequences for almost the entire tech industry, thanks to the app's parent company Tencent having investments in companies like the Riot Games and other US brands. President Trump on the 6th of August had signed the executive order banning WeChat in the US. The order, which takes effect in 45 days, says Americans will be prohibited from carrying out any transactions with Tencent, the parent company of WeChat. Trump administration early this week had flagged increased effort to purge the untrusted Chinese applications from the US digital networks, calling WeChat and TikTok apps significant threats. The decision to ban WeChat will have long-term implications on consumers, American companies with a significant presence in China, US-China relations and the future of the internet. Moving on now, large plumes of smoke wafted through the jungle trees and wires crackled through undergrowth as the Amazon, the world's largest rainforest and a bulwark against climate change, was once again under threat from the forest fires. The Brazilian Space Research Agency recorded 5,860 fires in the Amazon in the first 6 days of August, a 7% increase from the same period last year. It added that the fires in the wetland reportedly tripled from 1st of January to 23rd July, an increase of over 200% compared to 2019. It has also predicted the worst August in 9 years. An estimated 2,413 species could be at risk due to the habitat loss. Following the global pressure from foreign governments and investors, the Brazilian President Bolsonaro has deployed the military to combat deforestation and fires. And moving on now to some sports news, the Brazilian midfielder William has confirmed that he will leave Chelsea after 7 years at the Stamford Bridge. The 32-year-old posted a farewell letter to the club's fans on Twitter and said it is time for him to move on. He further added, I quote, I leave with my head held high, safe in the knowledge that I won things here and always did my best in a Chelsea shirt, unquote. William began his career with the Corinthians in Sao Paulo, joined Chelsea in 2013 and made over 300 appearances for the club, winning 2 Premier League titles. He was out of contract this summer and had failed to agree a new long-term deal with the club. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.